Hi, I'm Dan Yost, and this is Just Records, and you're watching Mixdown Mondays. This week, I wanted to respond to one of my comments in one of our videos. Somebody asked about what the difference would be in the audio quality when it comes to pre or post in the signal path. And since I have a couple of different variety things to choose from, whether it be an EQ, compression, different form of compression, a different form of EQ, or tape saturation, I decided to just focus on one thing, and that was the Pultec EQP-500. And I actually have both a plug-in version of that and the hardware version of that. So what we did was we took a clean electric guitar signal using an amp, SM57, and just miking it right up, So it's kind of interesting what the differences are. And I even went a step further to see what the differences would be. Since I'm running a Apollo, I'm able to put that plug-in before capture as a pre-plug-in and play through it and record that. And then I also processed that same guitar signal, the clean signal, through the plug-in as well in post. And we'll be able to tell the differences between them. I think ultimately, though, what I'm looking for is not necessarily a comparison of is hardware better than a plug-in. You can draw your own conclusions with that. And what I'm looking for is to see what tonality differences there are between using the hardware and or plug-in pre-capture and then processing it post-capture to see what the differences might be. You might be interested to find out. Let's go take a listen. So what we have here is the session where I have a couple of different versions of the same riff that I played. I have the version where there's no processing whatsoever. It's just a guitar, the amp, the 57 into the preamp. Then I did a EQP before the preamp and the EQP plug-in before the preamp. So this is the hardware, this is the plug-in. Then down here we have post. So I took this and processed it through the hardware EQP, post-recording it, post-performance. And this one is post-performance with the plug-in version of the same EQP. Essentially what I did was I took the console here and I added in, here, I'll just do it on my vocals here. Went into the EQ and I added the Pultec EQP and I actually matched the presets. I decided to do a preset. It's not always what I go to, but just decided that why not match the exact preset. And so on the 500 series of the EQP, I had the exact same settings. Everything is the same. So, and then in Apollo, you just arm the actual channel by changing that little setting on your insert to arm any plugins that you want to be pre the capture, not post. And then, of course, like in this DAW, if I wanted to add the plugin in post, I would have already recorded the part and then gone down and had it populate here. And for instance, exact same settings. So here is the unprocessed, just the guitar. Then we have the guitar with the hardware version of the Pultec EQP. And then finally we have the software version of the EQP, which I did have to reduce the decibel level because it was a lot hotter than the hardware version, but I wanted to match them as much as possible. Now, again, let's do that without the talking in between. Now, there's a bit of a difference between pre and post. So here is the post, same guitar, but processed after recording. And that's the hardware version. Then we have the plug-in version. Now you'll notice that I didn't have to change the volume level on any of them besides the plug-in version of the pre-capture. So for back and forth, here's the unprocessed. And there you have it. Could you hear a difference? Now, as you noticed, I did have to change some of the volume output settings on the waveforms because using it pre-capture, there was a higher output in volume. And I'm not really looking for volume necessarily. That is kind of more of a side effect, I believe, to what processing is happening. I was looking more for how the EQ changes in the pre versus post. And I mean, obviously, volume is one thing. There was some attenuation, of course, when it's pre, which I thought was interesting. And then when using the plugin, it was a lot louder than before in the pre-capture as well. But the post-capture is about the same as far as volume output. I didn't see any changes there for the most part at all. Now, I do still feel that the hardware version does have some nuances that make it appealing. It's a little richer, a little darker. The plug-in version is a little more transparent in the sense that I feel like it didn't alter the signal that much in post, especially in post with the plug-in. There was more of an alteration, I think, in the post with the hardware version of the EQP than with the plug-in version. But you let me know what you think and tell me what you decide. I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are. As always, I hope that this video has been helpful, and I appreciate you watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want, and see you next time on Mixdown Mondays.